Katrina's life was normal. She worked as a graphic designer. She lived in a small apartment. She loved her boyfriend, Elie. Then everything changed.
$69 million in Bitcoin appeared in Katrina's account. It was all over the news. A massive hack. The prime suspect, Katrina.
She knew it was Elie. He framed her. But why? Panic set in. The authorities would believe the narrative. She was an easy target. Katrina had to run. She had to find Elie. He had the answers. He held her life in his hands.
Fear propelled her. She withdrew cash, packed a bag. She became a ghost, disappearing into the anonymity of the city. Little did she know, the chase had already begun. A shadow was about to enter her life. His name, Nick Swery.
Nick Swery was a US federal marshal. He lived for the chase. The thrill of the hunt was in his blood. The Bitcoin case landed on his desk. $69 million vanished into thin air. The suspect? A young woman, Katrina. Her face stared up at him from the file.
He dove into the investigation. He studied the evidence, the digital trail. He tracked the movement of the money. Something didn't add up. Katrina's profile didn't fit the crime. Too clean, too ordinary. Was she a pawn, a patsy in a larger game?
Nick's instincts told him there was more to the story. He could feel it in his gut. This case was different. It intrigued him. He would find her. He would uncover the truth. He became obsessed with the case, with Katrina. Katrina was a ghost moving from city to city. She used burner phones, fake IDs. Fear was her constant companion. She followed Elie's trail. He had left clues, digital breadcrumbs. They led her east toward Asia. Thailand was her first stop. The bustling streets of Bangkok provided cover. She blended in, a face in the crowd, but the fear remained. It gnawed at her. Someone was watching. She could feel it, eyes on her back, a presence lurking in the shadows. She was running out of time. She had to find Elie before they found her. The hunt continued. Each step closer to Elie was a step farther from her old life. She was adrift in a world of shadows and whispers, alone, hunted and clinging to the hope of clearing her name. Thailand throbbed with life. The air was heavy, thick with the scent of spices and incense. Katrina moved through the crowds, a phantom. She followed Elie's trail to Chiang Mai. He had a contact there, a hacker known only as the Serpent.
She found the Serpent in a smoky den, his fingers dancing across a keyboard. He was her only hope. He could lead her to Elie, but he demanded a price information. He wanted to know about the Bitcoin hack.
Katrina had nothing to offer. She was a pawn, just like him. The Serpent gave her a name, a location, Bali. Elie was there, he said. Katrina clung to that hope. She disappeared into the night, leaving the Serpent to his secrets. The chase continued, leading her ever eastward. Section 5. A moment of respite, tranquility in Bali. Bali was an oasis. The air was sweet with the scent of frangipani. The beaches were pristine, the water crystal clear. For a brief moment, Katrina could breathe. She found solace in the island's tranquility. But the peace was an illusion. The hunt never stopped. She could feel Nick closing in. His presence was a shadow, always lurking nearby. She had seen him, fleeting glimpses in the crowd. Their eyes met once, across a crowded marketplace. A spark of something ignited between them, a strange mix of fear and attraction. The respite was over. Elie's trail led her deeper into the island's interior, toward the ancient temples and mystical forests. She had to find him before Nick found her. Time was running out. Section 6. The chase resumes. Shadows in Santorini. The whitewashed houses of Santorini gleamed under the Aegean sun. The island was a maze of narrow streets and hidden alleys. Katrina felt more exposed than ever. The beauty of the island was lost on her. She was a hunted animal, constantly looking over her shoulder. She had tracked Elie to Santorini. He was close, she could feel it. He had left another clue. A message scrawled on a postcard. It was a riddle, a cryptic message that only she could understand. It was a dangerous game they were playing, a cat-and-mouse chase across continents. Nick was closing in. She could feel his presence like a heat signature. Their paths were about to converge. The thought terrified her, yet there was a strange thrill to it as well. She was both predator and prey, caught in a web of intrigue and desire. Section 7. Face to Face. A tense encounter in Rio. Rio de Janeiro throbbed with a chaotic energy. The city was a kaleidoscope of color, music, and danger. Katrina felt strangely at home in the chaos. It mirrored the storm raging inside her. She had followed Elie's trail to the heart of the city, to a favela perched high on the hillside. She found him in a crumbling apartment, his face gaunt, his eyes haunted. The reunion was not what she expected. There were no explanations, no apologies, only fear and a desperate plea for help.
I was set up, Katrina, forced to frame you. I have the proof.
But before he could reveal more, Nick appeared. He had finally caught up with her. The tension in the room was palpable, a powder keg waiting to explode. Katrina was caught in the middle, torn between the man she loved and the lawman who was closing in. Section 8. Betrayal and Truth Unveiling Elie's Deception. Elie's facade crumbled. The truth spilled out ugly and raw.
I framed you, Katrina. I stole the Bitcoin and used you as a pawn in my escape plan. I never loved you. I only used you.
The revelation was like a punch to the gut. Katrina felt sick, betrayed, used. She had risked everything for him, and he had played her for a fool. Nick listened to Elie's confession, his face impassive. He had suspected as much all along, but there was still something that didn't add up.
There's more to this, Elie. What are you not telling us?
Elie was holding something back, a piece of the puzzle that didn't fit. He was involved in something bigger, something dangerous. And Katrina was caught in the crossfire. The chase was far from over. Section 9. The Reckoning, a Choice to Make. The air crackled with tension. Elie made a desperate move, grabbing Katrina, holding her hostage. He was frantic, backed into a corner. He would do anything to escape.
Stay back, Nick. I mean it.
Nick had to make a choice. Apprehend Elie and risk Katrina's life, or back off and let him go. He looked into Katrina's eyes. He saw the fear, the betrayal, but also a flicker of defiance. He knew then. She wasn't a victim. She was a survivor. He lowered his weapon, a silent signal. Elie hesitated, distracted. It was all Katrina needed. She acted instinctively, using her momentum to break free from his grasp. The distraction gave Nick the opening he needed. He moved swiftly, disarming Elie, bringing him down. The chase was over. But for Katrina, the journey was just beginning. Section 10. Chasing Shadows, Seeking Truth. Katrina's Enigma. The aftermath was a blur. Elie was in custody. The stolen Bitcoin was recovered. Katrina's name was cleared. Yet something felt unresolved. She had been through a crucible, tested and tempered. She was no longer the naive woman she had been before. Nick watched her, his eyes filled with a mix of admiration and curiosity. He had seen her strength, her resilience, but he still couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to her than met the eye.
Was she truly innocent? Or was she a master manipulator, playing a deeper game?
Their eyes met one last time. A silent understanding passed between them. The chase might be over, but the shadows still lingered. The truth, like a phantom, remained elusive. And Katrina, the woman at the center of it all, was an enigma, her secrets safely locked away.